The climb from Galata Bridge to Galata Tower tells the story of an empire that built its strength not through conquest alone, but through embracing diversity. Along these ancient streets, we'll discover how Ottoman pragmatism created a mosaic of cultures. From the banking houses that financed trade between East and West, to the synagogues where Jewish refugees found sanctuary, to the elegant Levantine mansions where European merchants made their fortunes. Each step reveals how Ottomans turned Istanbul's Galata district into a thriving cosmopolitan hub, and how that very openness would eventually reshape the empire itself.
Welcome to the Galata Köprüsü, or Galata Bridge. Excuse me. I'll wait for you, don't worry. So the walk up from Galata Bridge up to Taksim, which I'm going to do today in stages, is a fantastic insight into the history of the beginnings, the trials, and ultimately the demise of the Ottoman Empire. It's a little bit hectic up here. Let's go, let's take a look down here. Ah, that's nice, that's a bit quieter. I can hear my brain now. I can hear my own thoughts now. So the Ottomans that came here faced a problem. They were conquering a city of a completely different religion and culture. The culture that was already here would have been Roman, they would have called it. And in fact, the Greek population here, Turks still refer to them as Roman. So to balance the fact that they were conquering a completely different culture, the Ottomans did something really quite smart. They used a thing, let's call it strategic accommodation. On the historic peninsula were the Eastern Romans, or the Byzantines, who resisted to the last man, and in the end, they got smashed. However, on this side, what's now known as Beyoğlu, or was then known as Pera, was the home of a Genoese settlement. Now, the Genoese were traders and merchants coming up from Genoa, and this was one of their colonies or outposts for trading. When the Ottomans were advancing on Constantinople, the Genoese had made a decision. Nah, screw that. Let's just give them the keys to the city. They surrendered. And in the end, that turned out to be quite the smart decision. The Ottomans weren't brutal or completely diplomatic. They were both. And the journey from Galata Bridge right up to Taksim tells the story of how they did this. By the way, summer has completely hit in Turkey about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And when summer arrives in Istanbul particularly, it's like someone switches a light bulb on and it's suddenly hot. I'm actually quite excited to get off this bridge because I might actually be able to find some shade. So this bridge is somewhat symbolic because it's a connection between two almost different worlds here. And that's what the Ottomans had to do most of the time. They had to bridge, when you've got such a massive empire that stretches over a large area, you need to adapt and balance what works and what doesn't. You can't just stamp your ideology on everybody.
It's gonna get busy. It's getting busy.
Wow. The Karakoy Palace. Okay, I'm sure this is not the recommended walking route now, but this is where we are. Oh yeah.
The Karakoy Palace stands as a testament to Ottoman architectural ambition, where traditional Islamic design met European grandeur, reflecting an empire confident enough to blend influences from across its vast territories.
Right, so our next destination, big destination, is going to be the Galata Tower. But there are a few places to stop off on the way. Is this Bank Street? I think it is. Oh, Christ. So one of the great examples of the Ottoman Empire embracing this European change is Bank Street here.
Bankala Caddesi, literally Bank Street, was the financial heart of the Ottoman world. The Imperial Ottoman Bank here wasn't just handling money, it was financing the empire's modernisation and connecting Istanbul to the global economy that would eventually reshape the Middle East.
Right, quick stop done. Whoa. It's got some stairs.
These steps, built by the wealthy Commando banking family, are more than just a shortcut between neighbourhoods. They represent the Ottoman Empire's embrace of its Jewish citizens, refugees who fled persecution elsewhere and found not just safety, but prosperity in Istanbul.
Christ. Yeah, the area of Galata can be really quite hilly. So get fit before you come here. Or just more fit than me. So along here, I'm looking for a little hidden gem, and I think it's somewhere around. Oh, it's exactly there. There we go. I was just getting out my map to just check where it was, and it literally popped up from round the corner. That was lucky. It's easy to get disoriented in this city, but sometimes things just come to you. So this is the Ashkenazi synagogue. This was founded in 1900 by Jews coming from Austria. So this particular building was built in 1900, but it replaced the original one, which was in 1866. This is the last remaining of 3 Ashkenazi synagogues that were in the Galata and Pera area. Ashkenazi Jews represent about 4% of the actual Jewish population of Istanbul, so they're a minority within a minority. But it kind of shows you some of the acceptance that the Ottoman Empire made to include minorities of minorities in the city. Right, let's continue along this path. Because just off this road is one of my favourite streets. I think this might be it. It is.
Walking up Alagaic Sokak feels like stepping through a crack in time. This narrow street, with its crumbling facades and layers of graffiti, is a reminder of communities that once thrived here when the Ottoman Empire was a beacon of religious tolerance.
I mean, these polished cobbles on the floor are treacherous. When they're wet, they're even worse. But and I can't imagine it in the snow. I'm happy I've never done this in the snow. But here is our next building. But this one was founded by Polish immigrant Jews. In 1897, rabbis made an application to establish a synagogue in the Galata district. His job's not easy. Because there was a lack of temples and schools for the Polish Jews. Part of it was actually used as an elderly home. So it's actually hard to see it from the top. So I'm going to go down the street and then climb back up this hill. Up and down. You can do this, Jim. You've got it. It's only about 29 degrees, it's fine. Ah, they've covered it up. Ah, you used to be able to see the facade of this building, but I think they've covered it up. So, this street back in the day used to be famous for, let's say, ladies of the night. So, it was an evening entertainment street for gentlemen, let's say. Actually, during COVID, it went into disuse, and that allowed them to shut down the various establishments that were along this street. And now I believe it's being rehabilitated as a culture centre for this part of the city. And I believe the building next to it was an old Catholic or Orthodox church. I'm not sure. It says it's kind of still in use, but I'm really not sure which part of it is. Right, back up the hill. Come on. Oh, I can do it. I've got this. It's fine.
I've walked this street countless times, and it never fails to feel like an authentic, unvarnished Istanbul. The kind of place that gentrification hasn't touched yet, where you can still sense the weight of centuries in every weathered stone.
Continuing on to Galata Tower. Oh, more hills. Oh, they start to slow down soon. Thank goodness. We're nearly there. Just around this corner. There she is. Right, let's get up and have a closer look, shall we? Oh, and I know what's up here. It's the pinnacle of Turkish culture. It is Salt Bay. Now, I'm not sure I've got quite the cash for a gold flake covered steak today, so I'll give that one a miss. Maybe later, eh? So this is obviously one of the, if not the most one of the most touristy parts of Istanbul, so it's always busy in the summer. And I generally avoid it. Right, this is mental. I think I'm going to try and find somewhere a bit quieter. It is utterly jam-packed here. Run away, run away, run away. Now, there's a pretty big queue here today, and I don't fancy climbing stairs for the next hour just to see quite a nice view of the Golden Horn. So I'm going to give this one a miss, but I can kind of cheat this because there's drone shots of it. So this isn't the first tower that was here in this location. There was one that went back as far as Emperor Justinian, but that tower was destroyed in the sack of Constantinople in 1204 by the Crusaders. So in 1267, a Genoese colony was established in this area. In 1453, the Ottomans faced a choice here, really. They could have razed the place and taken it to the ground, but they didn't actually need to, because once they'd arrived here, the Genoese had actually surrendered to them and negotiated. Not for their colony, but for the right to continue trading, which they did, but as subjects of the Ottoman Empire. Now, this gave the Ottomans a fantastic advantage because the Genoese actually knew the area already and were trading and knew people and contacts and routes. So the same army that brutally conquered the other side of Constantinople came over and gently shook hands with the Genoese. And this is where I kind of realized that the Ottomans weren't schizophrenic. They weren't horse-riding warlords on one side of the city and then really good diplomats on the other. They were pragmatic. They didn't let their ideology get in the way of things working. Right, to continue on our route, we need to head back down the hill where we came up a little bit and then continue on to Istiklal Caddesi. Goodbye, Salt Bay, you bastion of culture, you. Is it this road? I'm not entirely sure. It's somewhere here. Wow, some of the street. Oh, excuse you. Oh, no. Yeah, I agree. Some of the streets down here are amazing. Like the combination of Ottoman and French and the hybrids in between. By the way, this is one of those famous streets with the Galata Tower view. Oh, it's completely contrasted out. You get the idea. So all these apartment blocks and buildings were part of the Levantine community. Now, Levantines doesn't necessarily mean people from Levant, which would be Syria and Lebanon for us, but it was more of a European community that was building within inside Constantinople. These would have been the European merchants, diplomats and businessmen that would have settled here and their families. I'm not sure what I'm getting dripped on by here. I'm hoping it's just air conditioning or plants being watered. Now, a lot of the architecture reflects like Parisian or Viennese styles that were brought over. And in our next video, we'll be taking a look at the spine, the street that runs through this European quarter as it became known, Istiklal Caddesi. In the meantime, I'm still getting dripped on and it's not raining and I'm paranoid now. See you in a bit.